What you're about to witness is absolutely explosive. Trump and Elon Musk just made the biggest political mistake of their careers. They called Zoran Mamdani's free transit plan a communist revolution. But what happened next will absolutely shock you to your core. Ladies and gentlemen, we're diving deep into the most scandalous confrontation in modern American politics. When you hear what Mamdani actually said in response, combined with the devastating financial evidence he dropped, your jaw will hit the floor and stay there. This isn't just another political attack, folks. This is a masterclass in how to destroy billionaires with nothing but facts and courage. Breaking news that's sending shockwaves through every corridor of power from Washington, D.C. to Silicon Valley. Zoran Mamdani just became the youngest mayor in NYC history. His first major policy proposal, completely free public transportation for all 8.4 million New Yorkers. The establishment's reaction was swift and brutal. At exactly 9:47 a.m. Eastern Time, Donald Trump fired off a tweet that would change everything. Communist Mayor Mamdani wants to destroy NYC with his Marxist transit scheme. Free stuff always leads to economic collapse. Sad. But that was just the warm-up. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, jumped in 23 minutes later with even more vicious attacks. Mamdani's free transit is pure socialism, Musk posted to his 18 million followers. This communist revolution will bankrupt the greatest city in America. NYC deserves better than radical leftist experiments. The tech billionaire didn't stop there. He called for a business boycott of New York until Mamdani was removed from office. But here's where this gets absolutely incredible and shows the true fighting spirit of progressive America. Zoran Mamdani didn't back down for even 1 second. At 11:15 a.m., he called an emergency press conference that would go down in political history. Standing before a crowd of 2,000 supporters in Brooklyn, Mamdani delivered what political experts are calling the most devastating counterattack in modern American politics. His opening line was pure fire. Mr. Trump and Mr. Musk want to lecture us about economics? Let's talk about economics. The young mayor pulled out a thick binder labeled Receipts and began reading. The numbers were absolutely staggering. Donald Trump received 800 and tax breaks from New York City over the past decade. Elon Musk's companies have received $4.9 billion in federal subsidies since who's really living off free money. The crowd erupted. But Mamdani wasn't finished demolishing these billionaire hypocrites. They call public transit socialism, but corporate welfare capitalism. These men have taken more free taxpayer money than any transit system in American history. Then came the knockout punch that left the entire political establishment speechless. If providing free buses and subsidies for working families is communism, then what do you call giving almost $5 billion in handouts to the richest man on earth? The cheers were deafening. Even hardened political reporters were cheering. But the absolute chaos that followed was unlike anything in modern political history. Within minutes of Mamdani finishing his devastating counterattack, Elon Musk went into complete meltdown mode on social media. The tech billionaire posted 47 tweets in just 2 hours, each one more unhinged than the last. Mamdani is destroying American values, Musk screamed into the digital void. This socialist mayor will turn NYC into Venezuela. I'm moving all Tesla operations out of New York immediately. But here's the absolutely beautiful part that shows how completely out of touch these billionaires really are. Tesla doesn't even have major operations in NYC. Musk was threatening to move something that barely exists. The Twitter meltdown got so bad that Tesla stock dropped 8% in after-hours trading. Shareholders were panicking. not because of Mamdani's transit plan, but because their CEO was having a public breakdown over public transportation. Wall Street analysts started questioning Musk's mental stability. This isn't normal business behavior, warned financial expert Sarah Chen on CNBC. Meanwhile, back at the press conference, something absolutely extraordinary was happening. Working-class New Yorkers who had never been politically active before were lining up to speak. Maria Santos, a subway cleaner who's been riding the rails for 30 years, grabbed the microphone with tears in her eyes. "I spend $150 every month just to get to the job where I clean the subways," she said, her voice shaking with emotion. "My own money to clean the trains I can barely afford to ride. Mayor Mamdani is giving us our dignity back." The crowd erupted in the longest standing ovation of the day. Construction worker James Williams stepped up next. "I've been building luxury condos for billionaires for 15 years. These same billionaires who call free transit communism live in buildings I helped construct with my union brothers. They got their government contracts, their tax breaks, their subsidies, but when working people need help getting to work, suddenly that's socialism." The testimonials kept coming. Rosa Martinez, a home health aide: "I take 4 different buses to visit elderly patients every day. Do you know what $2,400 saved on transit means? It means I can buy my kids winter coats without working overtime." The raw emotion was undeniable. But here's what really sent the establishment into absolute panic mode. Mamdani didn't just have receipts about corporate welfare, he had documented proof of coordinated opposition to his campaign. "While these billionaires accuse us of conspiracy," Mamdani announced, "let me show you a real conspiracy." He pulled out phone records showing a 3-way call between Trump, Musk, and real estate mogul Stephen Ross just 48 hours after the election. They weren't discussing business deals, folks. They were strategizing how to destroy a democratically elected mayor before he could even take office. The crowd gasped. Political reporters scrambled to verify the bombshell revelation. CNN immediately went to breaking news coverage. MSNBC cleared their entire evening lineup. Even Fox News couldn't ignore this explosive development. But wait, it gets even more insane. Our investigation has uncovered the shocking behind-the-scenes coordination between Trump and Musk that led to this attack. Sources close to both men reveal they'd been planning this assault on progressive mayors for months. Internal documents leaked from Mar-a-Lago show detailed strategies to crush socialist experiments in American cities. The billionaire class was terrified of Mamdani's success spreading nationwide. Here's the part that will absolutely blow your mind. Trump and Musk aren't just attacking Mamdani's policies. They're terrified of what his success means for their billionaire oligarchy. Free public transit isn't just about transportation, folks. It's about economic freedom for working families. Think about it. The average NYC family spends $2,400 per year on subway and bus fares. Mamdani's plan would put that money back in their pockets. That's $2,400 more for rent, groceries, healthcare, education. That's $2,400 less profit for the corporate landlords and price gouging companies that Trump and Musk represent. The economic implications are staggering. Free transit means working people can live further from Manhattan, reducing housing costs. It means students can get to school without choosing between breakfast and bus fare. It means elderly New Yorkers can visit doctors without rationing their trips. This is about human dignity, not ideology. But the billionaire establishment sees this as a direct threat to their power. If NYC proves that free public services work, other cities will follow. Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Progressive mayors across America are already studying Mamdani's model. This could trigger a national movement. International media is fascinated by this David versus Goliath battle. The BBC called it America's little earthquake. German news described it as the progressive breakthrough the world was waiting for. Even conservative outlets in Europe are praising Mamdani's courage in standing up to corporate intimidation. The financial details of Mamdani's plan are actually brilliant. Instead of relying on taxpayer subsidies, he's funding free transit through a small tax on luxury real estate transactions over $5 million. Properties that sell for more than $5 million will pay a 0.5% fee that goes directly to transit funding. Here's the beautiful irony that's making billionaires lose their minds. The same ultra-wealthy real estate investor who've been pricing working families out of NYC will now be funding free transportation for those same families. It's poetic justice in policy form. Wall Street panicked when the details were announced. Luxury real estate stocks dropped 3% in one day. Goldman Sachs analysts called emergency meetings. JP Morgan Chase executives were frantically calculating potential losses from the luxury tax. Investment firms started quietly moving assets out of NYC real estate portfolios. The panic was spreading through every corner of the financial establishment, but working-class neighborhoods across Queens, Brooklyn, and the Bronx erupted in celebration. Finally, someone who fights for us instead of them, shouted Maria Rodriguez, a home healthcare worker from Washington Heights. The attacks on Mamdani reveal something deeper and more disturbing about American politics. When billionaires can't defeat progressive policies on merit, they resort to name-calling and fear-mongering. Communist, socialist, radical. These are the desperate cries of an oligarchy that knows its time is up. Young Americans aren't scared of these labels anymore. They see European countries with free public transit, universal health care, and free college tuition. They see billionaires getting richer while working families struggle to survive. They're ready for real change, not corporate-friendly incrementalism. Mamdani's victory represents something historic. He's the first Muslim American mayor of a major U.S. sits. He's a democratic socialist who beat establishment Democrats in a landslide. He's proving that progressive politics can win when candidates fight for working families instead of wealthy donors. The generational divide is crystal clear. Voters under 35 supported Mamdani by 73%. They're tired of student debt, housing costs, and climate change. In action, they see free transit as common sense, not communism. This election shows that America's political future belongs to the working class, not the billionaire class. Corporate media tried to ignore Mamdani's press conference, but social media made that impossible. Mamdani exposes them trended worldwide for 6 hours. The video has been viewed 47 million times across all platforms. Young voters are sharing clips faster than establishment outlets can suppress them. Progressive organizations across America are mobilizing like never before. The Democratic Socialists of America gained 50,000 new members in 48 hours. Labor unions are planning solidarity strikes if Trump attempts federal retaliation against NYC. This movement is spreading beyond anyone's expectations. Celebrity endorsements are pouring in from unexpected sources. Mark Ruffalo called Mamdani a real-life superhero fighting for economic justice. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez posted, "This is what fighting back looks like." Even some business leaders are privately supporting the plan. The international implications are profound. Progressive leaders worldwide are watching to see if American democracy can defeat oligarchy. Mamdani's success would prove that grassroots movements can overcome billionaire opposition. This battle matters far beyond NYC's borders. Here's what happens next. Trump and Musk will escalate their attacks as desperation sets in. They'll threaten federal funding cuts, business boycotts, and media campaigns. But Mamdani has something they don't understand: the power of organized people over organized money. The free transit program launches in 6 months. If it succeeds, every major city in America will face pressure to follow suit. If it fails, corporate media will declare progressive politics dead for a generation. The stakes couldn't be higher for both sides. But here's why Mamdani will win this fight. His plan isn't based on ideology, it's based on data. Cities worldwide have proven that free public transit reduces traffic, pollution, and inequality, while boosting economic growth. New York isn't experimenting with communism. It's catching up with the rest of the civilized world. This confrontation exposes the real divide in American politics. It's not left versus right. It's oligarchy versus democracy. It's corporate welfare versus public welfare. It's a system that works for billionaires versus a system that works for everyone else. Young voters understand this perfectly. They see Trump and Musk as symbols of everything wrong with American capitalism. They see Mamdani as proof that another system is possible. This isn't just about free buses and trains, it's about the future of American democracy itself. The establishment's desperate attacks prove that Mamdani is winning. When billionaires resort to calling public transportation communism, they've already lost the policy debate. Now it's just a matter of political will and organizing power. Share this video everywhere. Subscribe for updates on this historic battle. The revolution starts now, and it starts with free public transit in New York City. Are you ready to be part of history in the making?